All right, hello, all you beautiful souls. I know that there's been a little bit of trouble hearing me in the last few videos, so I'm hoping that this one is better. Please let me know. I have a few things that I felt inspired to share, and one is I just wanted to speak on this concept of non-player characters. It's been coming up in my space, and people have been bringing it up to me, and most recently a video came through that really kind of shifted or opened my perspective. So I just wanted to share. I like to speak on issues that seem to be coming up. So my first response was that the first thing that came through for me was that what people are talking about is AI. These AI persons or personalities that show up in bodies, but aren't embodied in the same way we are. And then I listened to a couple more videos, and it linked for me something that I had spoken with the Syrian High Council about in the past, something that they've shared and I've written about. And that sort of opened my perspective of what was going on a little bit more, or what I perceive to be going on and what is coming through with the council, and I'll bring them in as well. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I feel that we are very programmed, predisposed. No, I don't think we're predisposed, but we are definitely very programmed to be predisposed to always sort of be looking for the bad guy or the other, the one over there, them over there, us over here, right? It's more programs of the depth of polarity that we are programmed to live in and perceive through. So I want that to be sort of like the grounding piece of whatever is shared here, that this doesn't have to be another one of those things that we find a way to be separate, or we find a way to separate ourselves or another. So I'm going to bring the council in and allow them to share some of what clicked for me in how I'm perceiving them, and hopefully this will also resonate with you guys, and or of course, if it doesn't, no reason to hold on to it. Wala mo mo kwatata ni akanunu na wala wichi an kanturia tu alala toro sa kantui mu kwaparo no kuna maka turitia kamparuetariti teatro no apo na kai jeriana kon kamanato. Yeah, this is the part that was waking up for me, and I just kind of wanted to get their perspective on it. Was that every soul is in its own stage of evolution. So I'm saying that, and they're saying that in regards to not everyone is ready to be all the way awake right now, whatever that even means, right? All the way awake to what is happening on the deeper levels of consciousness on Earth. How about that? Not everybody's ready for that. Not everybody is ready to live the full potential of the human experience or the Earth experience. They're saying, of any experience for that matter. And this is not good. This is not bad. This is just where one is at on their evolutionary path. Their soul is on their path. So creation is a school, if you want to look at it that way. Creation is a school. We're all learning. And evolution is how we move through what we're learning, right? We have these sort of plates of evolutionary food for the soul that we pull in close to us that we're ready for, or we think we're ready for. Some part of us thinks we're ready for, and we sort of finish that one, and then we get another one. And a lot of times these are tied into what other souls are doing. So we have these group contracts, right? And we have these group experiences, such as Earth and being human. And what's the first step we usually do in the learning process is we observe. So what the council is sharing, and what I'm seeing as they're bringing some awareness through about these non-player characters, ia kamparona makarwata otsuriena katatisi ia kanumunu tape atu ia tankana kanunu terebe kegetanano purapa kanana katayati komuko paralaonuko ia nana kana, is that they are there's a mix of things going on. And part of what's happening is as our consciousness, those of us who would want to watch videos like this, our consciousness is waking up to a certain degree. We're becoming aware of what has already been happening, where there have been these beings, we will call them non-player characters for lack of better wording, that are a combination of things. Some of them are AIs, some of them are souls who want to learn about being human and being on Earth, but aren't quite ready to engage all the way with being human and being on Earth. So they're checking it out, and they're kind of they're going along with whatever's happening in the mainstream. Just kind of, they're not questioning the status quo, and they're just kind of going along with things because their unconscious is wanting to just observe. So they're not actively desiring to implement change in the system so much as observe the system, okay? And then there are some, the way that the council was showing it to me is, almost more like spy-like energies or entities. Again, for the purpose of observing, but the purpose of observing for more of the shadow side of things, not so much without attachment, or yeah, so that these people who don't want to be fully conscious or fully aware, they sometimes can have like an open channel to different shadow energies or entities that want to kind of spy on the more intimate experience of being human. And I think sometimes people do feel that, and that might be why there's a little bit of almost a negative connotation to these non-player characters. I think it's important to just to be aware. Be aware. You are waking up. You are becoming more conscious. So apply that to what you see and what you witness, and then your intuition, and come into what feels true to you, what feels right to you. These, you know, the ones that are kind of more like spies, it's just an energy you can say no thank you to. It's a person you can say no thank you to. Being around, if you feel that presence or energy. If it's an AI, you know, I'm going to make a separate video about AI, but it's not necessarily good or bad either. There's not this, there's not a black and white on that one. So, but it is certainly something you can say yes or no to. I think that there is, we've been pre-programmed to think that we can't say no to AI. Like movies going all the way back to like, I want to say the Terminator is like some of the first stuff, at least for me in my childhood, right? There's the implication that there's no free will when it comes to AI. And that's absolutely not true. So I do want to talk about that in a separate video, but I also want to come back around to the souls who are in bodies here, but aren't ready for the full experience and are just observing. So keeping that in mind and having compassion for them. So, because I know a lot of us are in positions where, you know, our brother or sister or mother, uncle, coworker, whatever, just doesn't get it and just won't wake up. Or you just can't get through to them at all. And it's frustrating and feels like, you know, you're just talking to a doorknob, for lack of better wording. That's how I feel sometimes when I get into those places. Try to remember that these are souls like you, like me, and they're in a different place in their evolution. And part of us becoming more conscious is becoming more aware, more accepting of the fact that consciousness is everything. It's all of it. It's not everyone has to be the same amount of awake. Everyone has to be the same amount of conscious, because that's not what wholeness is. Wholeness is all the parts, all the pieces, all the steps along the way. So let me just see if the council has anything left they want to add. Iana laugo to kite niki mukapara laugo tse teke na katutu takamanu anama karawa rakanu ni ana kate si te atokono arawatveran kompukan. You know, they're just kind of saying like congratulations and, you know, coming to another step in your awakening and seeing things more clearly, and to remember that as the layers and veils come off, meaning, you know, specifically talking to like, okay, now we have an awareness of these non-player characters. And I know that's been happening for a while, but it's still fairly new, right? So, okay, now we have an awareness of this, another veil, another layer has come off, to simultaneously just take a deep breath with it and recognize and realize that it's another wave, it's another ebb, it's another flow, it's another a piece of the puzzle of a whole. It's another itirisa komputware takamni malauko roma intisa takana imokala munwa kamana ta chita kampare ta neke yeah, it's just another layer. It's another level. What they're getting at is that we tend to get dramatic about each of these pieces, and we tend to look for what can be wrong about it, what can be bad about it, how can it be a threat. And that's all of our programming of the past. That's all the human conditioning program. And to be aware of that, to be conscious of that, to be conscious of what is being brought into our space, to be conscious of, that there are beings here that are not fully participating. And guess what, though, also, we just don't have to be in full engagement with them. We don't have to engage with them at all if we don't want to. And this is part of how I think, people are going to come to understand how Earth evolves. It's more and more by conscious choice. That's how we're creating, right? So it's just happening. It's not like we have to think about it happening. It's about becoming more embodied and making conscious choices from this embodied place of what we want to see happening. That's how we're creating. So by me choosing not to engage with someone that I feel is one of these spy energies, for example, that conscious choice has just shifted the consciousness as a whole, because every drop is a piece of the pool of consciousness, has shifted it as a whole, so that now there's more energy over here in this place of I'm choosing to be a part of conscious creation. I'm choosing to be a part of creating from heart and love and being in touch and in rhythm with the earth and part of the ebb and flow of consciousness with my fellow humans who are also in this place, right? That's how new the new earth gets created. It's one conscious choice at a time. And that is how reality gets created, one conscious choice at a time. And as our consciousness becomes more and more awake and aware of what's going on around us, we become more awake and aware of what we're participating in. And all of us find each other, right? It just happens. It's a natural occurrence that when you're not making these choices, you're making these choices. And that's where everybody else is that's making those choices. You see how we begin to create new consciousness, new earth, right? It's by everyone making those conscious choices together. Then you're the only people, you're the pillars that are left. So we don't need to worry so much or think about it so much. And and so also to be kind and have compassion for those who aren't there yet. And it's okay. There's no judgment. We were there once. We were just observing once. And in fact, there's a big part of our consciousness, the observer, right? That's still just observing. And there's actually a lot of spiritual teachers out there that this is what they promote, is really being in the place of observing, observership, right? But being human is not about observing. It's about embodying. It's about being embodied. It's about, as much as possible, we don't have to let go of the observer, but shifting our consciousness into the body and into the group experience of Earth and sharing our consciousness with each other. There's a deep trust in fully embodying being human that we have to go into in order to really, really have this experience as what it was meant to be, this full embodied experience. So it's a big deal being human. That's why we have so many things to work through. And so if somebody wants to just watch first, would we want somebody to perform an operation on us if they'd never watched it before? I mean, ideally we want them to have more than one practice session too, but this is how we learn. And hopefully this is, giving everybody a little bit more of a perspective of like, you know, oh, there's these non-player characters like over there and we're over here. And it's like, and everybody's just working together. We're all figuring it out together. We're in slightly different places, right? Even the dark, whatever those shadowy characters are doing, they're figuring something out. I don't really like to go into too much of what they're figuring out. I just know that it's really not the path that I'm on or what I want to participate in, and so it's just a very clear no for me when I come in contact with that energy, or when I even, you know, when I see it from a distance. If I can see that that's going on with someone, and really just trust your gut. If that person looks really checked out and you don't feel good around them, you feel like something else is going on, you don't have to spend time with them. Just make a clear boundary. And again, with every conscious decision you make, you're creating new reality. So I hope that didn't get too tangential and everything made sense. If you have questions or you want to, you know, have more conversation about it, then please reach out. Yeah, and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell button, and it'll let you know every time a video comes out. I know I haven't done one in a while, but all the more reason to hit the bell so you know when it happens. Okay, so much love to everybody, all you beautiful souls on this beautiful journey of existence.